Movie night, back another Classic. I'm your host, Easy. Welcome to Car Language, and here's 5 reasons why I think you should consider working for Landstar. So let's get into the 5 reasons why I would consider Landstar. Little summary. Landstar takes 35%. That's their cut. It's a bit steep, but as I go into the 5 reasons, you'll start realizing and recognizing that, hey, it's not bad for what they offer. A lot of companies offer less, but you work less. Landstar is gonna make sure you keep those wheels turning. So number 1, I don't like to drive overnight. For the most part, their benders are 9 to 5. So it's rare I drive overnight. Of course, that's something, you get to kind of finagle with. You have, it's the low board open, you do whatever you want, you pick and choose. Like I said though, it's rare you drive overnight. So that's a plus. I love that. I have a friend who was working in another company. He was getting, they were taking 20% from him rather than 35. That's a 15% increase from when he used to work for Landstar. But guess what? He wasn't working like how I was. I'm not gonna dive too much into that, but you get the drift. Landstar will always keep you working. Number 2, the fact that you could pick your own loads. I love that. I know where I'm going. We have our life planned out. I used to work with this other company. It was like a branch of Prime. I'm not gonna mention who that was. I'll mention that in another video. But it was forced dispatch. I love the fact that with Landstar, you can pretty much pick and choose where you want to be, where you want to go. Number 3, insurance. Landstar offers an insurance called NTP. Now, there's a downside to that. The downside is, you guys know how insurance works. They want proof of what's going on. So if something in your transmission went out, they want pictures, they want to know that's the exact problem. So all of that is a process, and you have to wait. You know what that means, waiting? You're not making no money. The upside to that is Landstar offers trucks. Like, it's guys within the company that have multiple trucks. You can jump into one of those trucks. Of course, the percentage varies, just putting that out there. Some might charge you 50%, some might charge you 30, some might charge you 20, etc. But you'll still work while your truck is being fixed. You'll work while your truck is getting worked on. So that's a big plus. And this insurance costs, let's say $50 a week. And they got something else where it's like $6, where let's say it's like an extra $6 a week, where if you break down on the side of the road, they'll charge you like $250 to go to the nearest mechanic shop, or whatever it is. It'd just be that. And if it's, let's say, like a battery issue, starter, simple things like that, they'll swap it for you right then and there. I think it's like a $500 deductible, something like that. So $56, you do the math. In a year that you pay that, your maintenance or what you've done to the truck, depending on what the issue is with your truck, it was worth it. So unless you're very mechanically inclined and you know how to change an engine, this ain't for you. But if you don't really know much on trucks, I think that's very beneficial. NTP covers engine, transmission, differential, all of those major components. No, they're not going to change your oil, stuff like that you have to do yourself. The keep up, the maintenance, stuff like that is on you, but they cover major components. My injectors went out. I wish I would have had that. They would have covered it. I wound up putting it after. You know what it is. You always wind up putting cameras after somebody steals from your house, right? That's usually how it goes. Let's talk about number 4. Dedicated lanes. A lot of dedicated lanes. It's all on the relationships. How hard you're going as far as building relationships, trying to meet brokers, staying in touch with brokers. You know, they like that consistency. If you're constantly calling them, you know, again, building that relationship, you'll be all right. And right now, it's no secret, but rates are down. But with these dedicated lanes, the rates don't go down too much. Again, that friend of mine that left Landstar, I ain't putting your name out there, but if you watch this video, most likely you're not, because it's not the ones that are friends with you that watch you, is those that are really looking for information that watch you, you know? Just putting that out there. He got like 3 emails versus me, where I got 1 email from that dedicated route that I had. They said that the prices would drop. It didn't drop drastically. Maybe $150, something that to be honest, I didn't feel. I don't feel at all. So his rates dropped crazy. Mine's dropped a little bit. But that company, I guess, doesn't have a lot of drivers. They're not big like Landstar, so you know, they have to kind of roll with the punches, where Landstar is like, all right, they might say it's you guys are killing us with these prices. We're just not going to deal with the account. That happened with, I don't want to say too much, but that happened with a certain vendor with Landstar. They just dropped them. I was looking forward to that account. And they dropped them because it wasn't competitive. Like, it wasn't worth, they thought that it wasn't worth it for the drivers. It was just, they cut that rate down crazy. So they dropped that. Like me, because this whole rate thing, it's bad right now. It's bad everywhere. You could go anywhere, you'll just be jumping from company to company. You'll be venturing off for no damn reason, because it's pretty much the same anywhere. Of course, a lot of you might come down on the comment and say, oh, well, I get paid this. Good for you. You understand? But put me on, and you won't. You understand? So what you got to say is irrelevant. What your opinions are on Landstar is irrelevant. It's the same everywhere. Like I said, that friend of mine, he's about to jump to another company because it's not working out for him. You know, again, I appreciate that from Landstar because they are consistent. The work is consistent. You're always going to have work unless you're not managing yourself right. You're booking that last minute. It's good, but it's bad because, trust me, 3 minutes into that load being put up on that board, they are on it. Like, drivers are on it. And you got to keep refreshing that page for you to get those new loads. Either refreshing or sometimes it doesn't, but you too far into the load board, you got to scroll all the way back up. You know, it's work. You definitely going to have to hustle. Don't be scared though. You know, I'm not trying to put fear in your hearts, but it's not that hard. You just, 2-3 days in advance, you'll be all right. A week in advance, you'll be all right. Now, the negative to that is sometimes, rarely that a load might get overlooked by drivers, and that pickup date is getting close. So what happens? Because you booked, let's say you booked a load in advance, they might throw that same load up, but because the pickup date is near, let's say a day before, now they're paying more. So you kind of shot yourself in the foot. I've learned to kind of take that loss. You know what? Let me book it, make sure I'm good. At least I know what my week is looking like. So let me book it. Even if I lose, $200-300. When things are booming, it's by much. Like, people that work for Landstar might disagree with me on this, but I remember when things were good, when such and such was in office, and let me not get political, but when things were good, you could book last minute, and the difference would be $500 to $1,000. Like, literally, it would be that much. When things were good. Now it's not really that. It might either stay the same, it might go lower. Like, you may see a load up there for like 15, and you come the next day and it's for $1,000. It's like, it's not only till like the last day where it might spike up a little bit. So that's something to consider. The dedicated routes that they got are official. I know this one guy, and I'll post it up here. This is what he grossed in a week. You know, he shares the truck with somebody else. This is a dedicated route. I would tell y'all what that dedicated route is, but I'm gonna have to tax y'all on that. So depending on how many views, etc., we get, we'll let y'all know what account that is. And no, you're not gonna get in there right away. I would be in there. I just don't like the fact that they work 5 days a week. I don't like that. I like my 4-day run. Let's talk about rates. Oh, excuse me. Before we move on to rates, the lanes. I do my best to work 4 days a week. Yes, Landstar, you can finagle that. You know, right now, because the rates are down, it might not be that. I'm on 5 days. Sometimes I'm out for 2 weeks, but within those 2 weeks, I'm not even working that much. I'm working out of those 14 days, let's say 10 days that I'm out, I might work. Driving, I might drive, let's say 7 out of those 10 days. Not bad. 3 days off, 7 days on. And mind you, these are like, you know, there's some half days in there where I've driven like 5, you know, I drove, let's say 8 hours one day and I drove 3 hours the next day, you understand, to drive the rest of the way. Stuff like that. I don't burn myself out, believe it or not. I feel like if you're driving 11 hours every day, I hope you're making a great check and your pockets is fat. But the way things are right now is working strategically is the wave. I'd rather work 40 hours in 4 days and not 70 hours in 7 days. That's insane. I do my best to work less hours, less days, better pay. I try to keep it at, let's say $2 a mile after everything, which is not bad for this economy. Rates are just down anywhere. So, you know, I want you guys to keep this in mind. I want to save this for another video, kind of sum it up to, you know, just talk about how I got into the whole trucking game itself. Rates are bad right now, everywhere. So you could go, you know, if you work for Landstar, just, you know, again, since they have that opportunity where you could kind of go wherever you want, you build your relationships already. That's cool. Keep it that way. You're gonna go somewhere else. You're probably gonna be forced to dispatch, or you might have your own lowboard going on. But I guarantee you, they're not gonna have as much work as Landstar does, unless you go on to another company like a Swift or somebody like that. I'm just setting an example. It's those major companies that's gonna have a lot of work like that. But again, it's gonna come with that 35% hit. You know, everywhere is bad right now. So I would just say stay put, unless you know you're going somewhere where it's for certain, where it's popping. And let's end it off with this. Those are red flags. Like, if you're looking for a company to work for, you want that type of security. You know, the NTP thing is good. The NTP insurance is good. The fact that they have those loaner trucks where you can rent from somebody else for the time being, so you won't be making nothing. You know, slow money better than no money. A lot of companies don't offer that, you know. So if you guys are out there looking for somebody to work for, those should be like your, you know, those should be like your goals. Like you want those to be standards. You have to have this. You have to have a loan truck. You have to, you know, picking your own loads. You know, these 5 things I just mentioned. You know, I think this is a good way to go to an interview with. Don't get interviewed by these people. Interview these people. Like, they're gonna interview you, you should interview them. Don't just go wandering off. Like, you know, Landstar offers those discounts on tires. You know, my tires are very expensive. I had 24.5s. Those wheels are bigger than the 22.5s. Those are your average. I've literally blown out tires and jumped from a Goodyear to another TA to, you know, from Petros, or just looking for that one tire. Nobody has them. So they offer discounts on a lot of on tires and stuff like that. Pretty much what every other company does. But again, it's that those other 2 things that companies don't offer, and those are loaner trucks and the NTP insurance. So these are like 2 red flags. If I'm looking for a company and they don't have that, it's a no-no for me. It's been fun. 3 years plus, going on 4. I've heard about other companies, not interested. The moment I ask, hey, do they offer this, that? Nah, I'm good. You know, some people offer me, yo, you can make da-da-da, but for how long? You understand? Like, I feel like Landstar is a stable, secure company. I don't see them going nowhere no time soon. They definitely on like the top 10 of biggest companies out there. I think number 1 probably of owner operators. Probably, I could be wrong. I don't know what the numbers are. But it's a good company. Take it from me. I've been in the game since 2017. I know a little bit. Depending on how these trucking videos do, we'll share a bit more information. We'll start going into, I'll show you my truck. I just really don't want one of these videos to go viral and I go to a truck stop and all of a sudden everybody wants to talk to me. You know, people are slicing my tires, stuff like that. I don't need that. So I keep my work out of this. And that's kind of why I never really wanted to, you know, implement my job with the Car Language channel. But I'm very knowledgeable in it. Any questions, comment down below. Let me know what it is. Hope this video was informative. We're gonna call this part 1. Car Language. Stay tuned, more content coming soon.